Hi, welcome back. I just got some good news that they just experienced a small earthquake in Taiwan. Congratulations. I'm sure that's some bodhisattva in our group. Congratulations. So yeah, the story about the 500 ducks, or geese, I guess, comes from, I found it, it's in the Sutra of the Wise and the Foolish. And if you'd like to read it someday, we can. We're kind of behind in this class, so we got to start speeding up. Okay. And the next picture that I wanted to show, we're going to talk about infinity, okay? We're going to talk about what does it feel like to jump from one planet to another without number, okay? Without any number. Billions and billions of planets, okay? Well, I say billions because it's an easy word to say, but there's no number, okay? And you jump on that, you leap across that many planets to make connection with that many people, okay? And there's a connection between the hearing about it many times and then experiencing it infinite times, okay? And he's going to talk about that. All right, here we go. Gyapo Makeda la Dongniki Bakchak Shintu Chewa Yepe. This is talking about a king called Ajata Shatru. Ajata means not born yet, Ajata. And Ja came into genetics, for example. And Shatru means enemy, as Ari. So Ajata Shatru means before he came out of his mother's womb, a what do you call it? Future seer? A seer said that he would kill his father. Okay? And so he was called the unborn enemy, Ajata Shatru. But later, and in fact he did, but later he repented and became a famous saint. And Dongniki Bakchak Shintu Cheo Yepe. So he had by the time he became king, he had a very heavy seed for emptiness, okay? Dukta Chiki Cup, and he had prepared a meal for the monks in his kingdom. Jamyan Lakus Ser Sang Tong Riwa Shikpuwe, Manjushri attended as a bodhisattva, and the king tried to offer him a golden robe made of pure gold, threads of pure gold. And then suddenly, Manjushri disappeared. Okay. And he's standing there with the robe to give it to Manjushri, and Manjushri just disappeared. You know? So then he's like, wow, I wonder what I'm supposed to do about that. And he tried it. He said, let me try it on myself. Maybe it would fit me. And he put it on, and suddenly he disappeared after he put the robe on, the golden robe on. And then, because he had a heavy seed in his mind, because he had attended teachings about emptiness before, when he saw these different kinds of physical disappearances, it triggered the perception of emptiness in his mind. So this is the kind of story that's very dangerous, because people will go around, trying to get someone to disappear so they can see emptiness, So these are the kind of dangerous stories. It doesn't mean that if someone disappears when you're trying to give them a gift, that you're about to see emptiness. It doesn't mean that. But it is true that there can be small personal experiences of absence which remind you of emptiness. What's the most famous one in the DCI system? Small absence of an expected object.
The second husband?
That's a good one. I'm thinking of something else.
Purple elephant? The other?
Huh?
Mouse in the kitchen.
Something in your pocket.
Oh, credit card.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're looking for your credit card and you take, it's always JB. I don't know why. He's always the person who has to pay for me. But I change my pants before I go out to dinner with JB. and then I forget the credit card, and then I'm looking in my pocket for the credit card. And it's true that the absence of an expected object in your pocket can remind you of emptiness. But that doesn't mean you should try to take JB out as often as possible and forget your credit card. So try to distinguish. What they're saying is, keep coming to classes, keep learning, keep listening. Everything you hear has an effect on your mind. Everything you ever experience will come up later in your life as a different experience. If you can plant some seeds for emptiness, by attending Alarm Rim teaching in 2021, then in 2030, you might be at a restaurant with JB still trying to get his dinner. And you'll reach into your pocket and you'll have an experience of emptiness because of the seed you planted 10 years before. So try to expose yourself to teachings. All right. And I like to call it the 4 spaces meditation. Here's a picture of it. Sitting on your back in a nice grassy field or a nice rocky plateau at Diamond Mountain, and watching the sky, which is what this little girl is doing. It's not emptiness, but if you have seeds, because you went to the Alarm Rim teachings and you were too busy to really focus on it, but you heard the teachings, those seeds will affect you later, as they did the 500 ducks or geese. All right, good. All right, which takes us to today's class. We're hopelessly behind. All right. Semdi Kiepana, Sambadan Gyajin, so Kyang Ongne Churching, Kulula Dangche, De Sambatamje Jupe Drokche. We're still on this theme that he's going back to the theme that if you're a bodhisattva, you can help other people just by being someone they can offer coffee to or something like that. So, and he gives the example of this deva. So deva means if you meditate a lot in this life, and because you're meditating a lot, you don't have time to hurt people as we usually do. And then because of that good karma, default good karma, you become born like Superman or Iron Man or Wonder Woman 1984. You become this beautiful, handsome, strong deva. If you succeed in reaching bodhicitta, you attract these powerful beings. I like to say these are people who use planets as marbles to play games. They are so powerful they can flip a planet with their finger. These are deva. So he mentions Brahma and Chakra. He mentions a few of them, and he says they will be attracted to you, and they will make offerings to you, and their influence is that you will enjoy good health also. And they will drokche. What's drokpo in Tibetan? Drokpo. Friend. Yeah, they will be your friend. They will hang out with you. Maybe you don't even see them, but they make your life easier. They are like a gyalse being your attendant invisibly all the time, and they're just doing things for you you don't even know. That's one of the effects of being a bodhisattva. Zope sangye chanju semba le dan le chung dan de chanju ki sen la tene chungwe sangye ki kyang chanju semba la kupa jepa sungte. This is now starting a very, very, very famous topic about where do Buddhas come from. Okay, and this is going to take us, I don't know, maybe a couple days, I don't know, but it's very famous, extremely famous. So the question is, where do Buddhas come from? Zope Sangye, total Buddhas, Samyak Sambuddha, right? Chanju Sembale Chung, they come from bodhisattvas. Okay, how do you get a Buddha? Well, you need to get a bodhisattva. Then that's where you get a Buddha. What's the raw material for a Buddha? It's a bodhisattva. Hey, if you want a new Buddha, how do you get one? Well, you got to start with a bodhisattva. Okay, Chanju Sembale Tene. Well, how do you get a new bodhisattva? Well, you got to get a new bodhicitta. That's where they come from. Okay, where do Buddhas come from? If I want a new Buddha, how do I get one? Well, go find a bodhisattva. They're about to be a Buddha. Well, if I want to find a new bodhisattva, what do? Well, go find someone who just got bodhicitta. Look for bodhicitta. That makes bodhisattvas. Bodhisattvas make Buddhas. Therefore, and this is a very, very famous idea in Buddhism, Buddhas respect bodhisattvas more than other Buddhas. Buddhas respect bodhisattvas more than they do other Buddhas. Okay. Well, yes, Paul's like, why? Porque? Well, he's about to give you like 10 pages about it. Let's talk about it. Okay. Why is it that a Buddha would rather meet a bodhisattva than another Buddha? Okay. That's a good question, right? All right, here we go. And I have a picture for you guys. And maybe, wrong guy. This is a different guy. There you go. I don't know about you, but I had a good time in school, and I had wonderful teachers. And after I left school and went to college and started my life, I used to go back to the school and meet my teachers. In fact, I just met my 6th grade teacher. That was 50 years ago, and we're still close friends. And it's a nice thing to go back and see your roots. Where did you come from? Right? Go back and meet the people who made you who you are. And so that's part of the answer, Paul. It's the pleasure of going back to the 6th grade teacher who made you the Nagarjuna translator you are now 50 years ago. And they did, So it's like honoring where you came from. Okay, honoring the person, your parents or your teachers, okay? So get in the mood. When Buddhists want to have a good time, they try to connect with who they used to be, where they came from, their roots, okay? So it's all about roots, okay? Dole kyang dawat sepa la chakjayi nyawala ni mayino. After all, doesn't the sutra say, doesn't Lord Buddha say in the sutra, I ask you to bow down to the crescent moon and not the full moon? I ask you to bow down to the crescent moon. We have a crescent moon going on right now, and not the full moon. Okay, what's it mean?
Bow down to the bodhisattva who will become the person who has bodhicitta who will become the bodhisattva who will become the Buddha.
Yeah, nice. Bow down to the person who has bodhicitta who's going to become a Buddha. I would rather that you guys respect bodhisattvas even than Buddhas, because that's where our roots are. That's where we came from. Okay, it's an interesting concept, and then Lord Buddha states it in the sutras by saying, he states it in this kind of a secret way. He says, I want you to bow down to crescent moons, not to full moons, okay? And being a nerd, Veronica says I'm a nerd, I don't know. But I went and found that quotation. It's in the Ratnakutta, which is called it's a special section of the Buddhist teachings called the Pile of Jewels. And it's in a section called the story of Kashyapa. Okay. So here we have a picture that can help you remember, okay? And I always like to think of the Muslim sign of Islam. And, it's easy to imagine that the crescent is more holy even than the full moon, okay? So that's a connection you can make. Every time you see this symbol of Islam, you can think about bodhisattvas. All right, okay. Deshin du kandangala raptu tawa teta ki chanju sembala chakchai deshin shepalani mayino. Then Pabongka Rinpoche says, there's also another quotation in Sutra where Lord Buddha says, if you love me, bow down to bodhisattvas and not to Buddhas. Okay? If you have faith in me, Tangwa, I ask you, please honor the bodhisattvas even more than the Buddhas. Those of you who have faith in me, I ask you, show it by bowing down to where I came from and not who I am. It's beautiful, something beautiful. And that comes from the same sutra. You can find it in the same sutra. Chi Chir Shena. Now, yay, Pabongka Rinpoche. I love him because he always explains things. He's like Tsongkhapa or Choni Lama. And he says, hey, maybe you guys are wondering why. Okay? Chi Chir Shena. Hey, why is that? Well, Chanju Samba Shingta Shugne, listen. And I suddenly last night I was reviewing this for the class and it struck me. My mom had a station wagon because she had 4 boys. You probably know about this stuff. And so this is like an old SUV, but big bag. In the back, you could stuff like 3-4 kids in the backpack and keep them out of trouble, mostly. And she would, when I became a teenager and I could drive, and I had this girlfriend named Veronica, she would loan me the car. And that's a great car for a date, okay? And then sometimes she would drive us somewhere, and it'd be like, wow, your mom is driving 2 teenagers around. And I mean, frankly, we were making out in the back. I mean, we didn't show her we were making out. You know what I mean? But just get this picture in your mind of the mom who's supposed to be making sure the kids don't make out, is driving them around in a station wagon and they're making out in the back. Okay, I'm just saying. Why you got this picture, Geshe-la? Chanju Semba Shingdar Shukne, when bodhisattvas want to get in their divine chariots and enjoy the 5 objects of the senses with each other. Got it? Station wagon, backpack. Shingdar Demba Shenmena. If they can't find any horses to pull the chariot around, the Buddha will come and offer himself as the Buddha. Okay, got it? When the bodhisattvas want to make out in their chariots and there's no horses available to pull them around, the mom, which is Lord Buddha, will come and pull the chariot around to honor the bodhisattvas. Are the bodhisattvas doing something important? No, they're making out in the back. Okay, doing ngala gangurchu. Doing ngala gangurchu means they are having fun with their enjoyment of the 5 objects of the senses. It means they're making out, okay? And the Buddha will come and drag them around so they can make out. And got it? It's maybe Lord Buddha respects bodhisattvas. Maybe Buddha has a soft spot in his heart for bodhisattvas. But Pabongka Rinpoche is trying to prove it. By the way, I found that one too. God bless ALL. God bless all the gold clubs. I can just go and ask the database, and I will find the sutra. Sometimes I think Pabongka Rinpoche would be really jealous of us. It takes about 1 minute. I used to sit and flip through scriptures for days to find one thing. Now it takes about 2 minutes. So anyway, guess where it is? It's in the Sutra Samuccaya, which is it's a collection of stories from Sutra assembled by Nagarjuna himself. So, by the way, if you want to know who John Brady was in his past life, Nagarjuna was fixated with saving ancient books. That was his thing. So, who knows? So anyway, he wrote a book called My Favorite Quotations from Sutra, and it's in there. Okay, he talks about that quotation where the Buddhas are dragging around these chariots where the bodhisattvas are having fun in the back. Okay, all right. I knew that would come in handy someday. Papa Shariputrabu Nyeshi Yingla Kyawan Nyam Shakti Nekyam. Shariputra, who is the hero of the Heart Sutra. Heart Sutra, right? All right. Shali Zi in Chinese. Kalpa Nyamba. He could stay in meditation for millions of years if he wished to. Okay. Tela Deshin Shepe Koti Minzepar. But the Buddha didn't pay him any special honor. Okay. He could sit in meditation much longer than any other disciple. But the Buddha didn't think it was such a big deal. He wouldn't drag his chariot around just because he could meditate for so long. Okay? And Sangye Ki Lungseke says Supe Pu Jambela Mapue. And then one day, apparently, and I couldn't find this story in the scriptures, but the Buddha had extra food in his wisdom bowl. We don't call it a begging bowl. And the Buddha put it on the table, and then Manjushri was like, hey, could I have some of that? You know, can I take, what was that this morning, Tim? Sweet roll? Small pastry. Like if Geshe-la went up to Tim and said, don't show me another one, I'll give him. No, I'm just kidding, it's okay. Yeah, and like if Tim said, oh, look, Geshe-la, we got pastries, and then Geshe-la said, yeah, I'll take one, and then Tim went, whoop, and the pastries sink down into the earth. You know, some Buddha asked Manjushri, hey, you want a pastry? And Manjushri's like, yeah, especially one of yours, you know. And he said, whoop, and they sank down into the ground. Why? Because he was trying to say, I don't think he's cool unless he's got bodhicitta. Okay, then I would offer him my pastry. So he kind of dissed Manjushri, and I guess he didn't have bodhicitta at that point in the story. Okay, this is how I like to read the story. Okay, because I'm not aware of a story where Manjushri is not at least a bodhisattva. I'm not aware of a time in the scriptures that I've read. Of course, there was a time when he wasn't a bodhisattva, but I'm not aware that he's ever not a bodhisattva in our scriptures today. And I think Lord Buddha is trying to honor the source of life, which is the earth. Okay, I think Lord Buddha is trying to honor, he's offering the leftover pastries in his bowl to the dirt, to the biochar of earth, because that's where all life comes from. I think personally in this story, Lord Buddha commands his bowl to descend into the earth, the soil, because that's the source of all life. In the same way that a bodhisattva is the source of all Buddhas. So it's a story about roots. It's a story about where does all life come from. And so Buddha offers his food to Mother Earth and not to this high bodhisattva. Okay, got it? I think it's very beautiful. Okay. I couldn't find the story though. All right. We finished the fourth benefit, which was what? Remember, the picture is a coffee in a coffee shop. It's probably Peachtree Cafe, if it ever opens. Well, there's this sexy thing that if you become a bodhisattva, yeah, then someone gives you a coffee, they're gonna have bliss for 1,000 years. Isn't it fun to be the one who's caused that? Okay? Think about how fun it is to be a bodhisattva, okay? It'd just be so much fun. Someone looks at you in a convenience store and smiles, they get to go to heaven for 20,000 years. And to be the person who's the lookie, who gets looked at, and sends them to the Buddha paradise for 20,000 years, wouldn't that be fun? You're like, hey, smile at me. You know, and then they smile at you and you're like, aha, I got you. You know? I think it's really cool. All right, next benefit, number 5. By the way, this whole retreat is about 10 cool things that are going to happen to you if you can become a bodhisattva. Here's number 5. It's much, say Lopchen. Lopchen means big waves on the ocean. And it's the Tibetan word for massively effective. Okay? Lup means ocean waves. Like not a tidal wave, not a tsunami, but just big normal waves. And it's the Tibetan word for extremely powerful potential. And I like the picture of, here we go. This is during the reign of Queen Gyaltse as the director of Diamond Mountain. And, after 20 years, 15 years, we decided to build some real roads. And we had a fantastic response from people all over the world, especially in Asia, Singapore, Taiwan, different friends in different countries. And finally, after 20 years of hard work, we built some real roads here. By the way, it's not finished, and I'm not finished asking for the money, but we can talk about it later. I also don't like to talk about money all the time, but you do need money to build roads. So why are we talking about that, Geshe-la? When we first got here to Diamond Mountain, and we decided to build some cabins, we realized we needed a road to get to the place where we were going to build the cabin. So we used to form a line of people, like 20 people across. And we'd say, okay, everybody take one step. And we take one step. And we'd say, pick up all the rocks in front of you. And then we'd all pick up rocks and throw them on the side. And then we'd say, okay, did everybody throw their rocks? Yeah. One more step. And then there'd be more rocks, and we'd throw those. And we did that for like, Kat, do you remember? I think it was like a month or something. And we got like 100 meters. It took over 20 people a month to clear the rocks in 10, 20 feet, you know? It's not Lopchen. It's not what? Efficient. It's not effective. Much better to have one. You got that picture? Much better to have these machines, right? That machine, no, last one, yeah. That machine, I went down to look at it. The wheel is taller than me. You know, just the wheel on the machine is taller than me. I was like, wow, these things are cool. That's the 5th benefit of bodhicitta, okay? You want to make good karma? You want a karma-making machine? Get bodhicitta, okay? Much more efficient, okay? It's like massive earth mover, not like picking up rocks and throwing them, okay? Although it was fun, right? Was it fun? I know it was kind of hot. Okay. Okay, ngapani, nyugrumbe. The 5th benefit is reflected in a quotation by a lama called Nyugrumba. Chamjuki semdi ke chigru, ke semdi chikyeru tugna. If you're just able to get like a tiny experience of bodhicitta. And sometimes you do, before you become a bodhisattva, you do get these blessed moments of, love for everybody. It happens like once every few years or something. I remember being in a garden, and it's an old British garden in the Himalayan foothills. It had been overrun by the forest, and you just break into this garden, and there's all these old British orchids and beautiful flowers growing wild inside a beautiful wall, and it was abandoned long ago, but I just had this moment there of some special moment, right? So we do get special moments that are similar to bodhicitta, okay? Chandraki-san, if you just get a moment like that, says New Grumba, 3 things happen. Number 1, in that blessed, I stayed in that garden like 20 minutes or something, I don't remember, but it intense good karma, intense collections of good karma while you're having this transformative moment. I hate that expression. Okay. Secondly, what do you call blinders on a horse? The covers on your eyes are torn off briefly. You have this moment of, what do you call it?
Revelation.
It's like bliss, but it's not bliss. Anyway, intense well-being, or I don't know. There's a word. You have this, it's like a sacred moment. It happens to you, right? A few times.
Ecstatic.
Yeah, ecstasy. It happens for 10 minutes, 20 minutes every couple of years. It's close to bodhicitta, right? So, and during that time, you can see clearly. You can see your life clearly. You can see what's important. You can see what's not important, okay? That's the second benefit of even having a moment like that, a moment of divine connection, which you can't predict it, you can't make it happen, but it happens every once in a while. And then thirdly, Parche Kyang Korang Gisel. All the problems you've been having in your life up to that blessed moment seem to drop away. Obstacles drop away. So 3 things. You collect intense good karma, you see more clearly, and your problems slough off for a while. Okay? He said just having this kind of blessed divine moment where you feel close to bodhicitta has these 3 effects. Intense good karma is collected. You see what's important clearly, and suddenly your problems aren't so big anymore. Okay? All right. Here's a picture. This is my version of a blessed moment, okay? It's like a huge car wash machine, and it's gathering good karma, cleaning, removing obstacles to your vision, and then removing problems, past problems. It's like going through a huge spiritual car wash. How's that? Okay? You do have such moments, even before you have 100% complete bodhicitta, right? Okay. All right. Art Engel, my dear friend, who translated this book so well, and it took him 20 years, he identifies New Rumba as having lived about 800 years ago. Okay. J Lame, who's J Lama? Jason Kampa said, Sogni kunla sengyur tabu, rabjangetso debesinum ter. This bodhicitta is like alchemical elixir, okay? What is that? So I don't know, in ancient times, people were always thinking there was some kind of juice that if you poured it on iron, it would become gold. It's called the alchemist elixir, right? So it's very popular in the ancient tradition to refer to bodhicitta as the alchemist's elixir. Okay? Why? Anybody want to guess for $100? Why should bodhicitta be called a special elixir which turns iron into gold?
Because it turns the normal being into a Buddha.
Nice. Did I say $100?
Changes the focus of a virtue from one being to countless beings.
You could, 50-50. Okay. $50 each. Yeah, the point is, and he's going to make this point later. Right now, your body is flesh. And no matter how much yoga you do, I can tell you. And no matter, even if you eat well, which I haven't done that well, but it's going to fall apart. Okay? And it's, do what you want. Eat as many vitamins as you want. It's still going to fall apart. Okay? So, and we said yesterday, you are chained to this, defective from the factory body, and it will fall apart. But if you apply the elixir, it will turn into a rainbow body. Okay, so the steel, the iron, will turn to gold. Okay, your human flesh will turn into a Buddha's rainbow body. Okay, Rabjang Getso Besunum Ter. It's a gold mine of good karma. A bodhicitta is a gold mine of good karma. This quotation is from a book by Tsongkhapa called Lamrim Dudin, which is his tiny Lamrim. So he wrote a big Lamrim, he wrote a medium Lamrim, he wrote a small Lamrim, and then he wrote a tiny Lamrim. And the tiny Lamrim is the sexiest one, okay? Because it's called Nyamgur, okay? Say Nyamgur. Gur means a spiritual song, and Nyam means based on his own personal life. So it's not like Tsongkhapa to talk about himself. He does not talk about himself, ever. Very rarely. But in this poem, he talks about his own spiritual life. And it's very beautiful, And the line that I like, he will describe some beautiful thing that happened to him in his spiritual life. And then he'll say the same sentence. Ready? Neonjor, say Neonjor. Nye kyang. Nyamlen. Detar. Che. Tarndu. Ke kyang. Deshin. Kyang talo. I, the yogi, he refers to himself as a high yogi. Neonjor, right? Hey, that's the way I did it. That's the way I got to where I am. Tarndu Kekyang. If you guys are Tarndu, Geshe Lotar, Lobsan Tarndu, his name is Tarndu, who seeks for liberation. Tarpa De. Those of you who are Tarndu, hey, you should do the same. Do what I did. It's very unusual for Tsongkhapa to say, oh, I got to this level, and here's how I got there. But in this one tiny poem, not tiny, couple pages, in this one short Lamrim, he talks about his own experiences, and then he tells you how to do it. And it's very beautiful. Maybe we should study that someday.
Yes, please.
That'd be amazing. But it's a beautiful, beautiful. And then this refrain keeps coming. That's how I, the great yogi, reached where I am. Hey, you guys ought to try it too. Okay? It's very beautiful. So that's where this quotation comes from. Bodhicitta is like the alchemical elixir. And you should get it too, like I did. Okay, all right. The first time I read it, I thought it's so un-Buddhist, especially for Tsongkhapa. He never talks about himself, but that's a beautiful, beautiful work. Okay. By the way, Milarepa wrote Gurbum, the 100,000 songs. Which is not 100,000, but it's a lot. Okay. All right, here's an alchemist. I found a picture of an alchemist. I don't like the guy. He looks a little evil or something. But just imagine he's turning steel, iron into gold. And that's the idea. So imagine this blue liquid that looks like mouthwash is actually bodhicitta. And it's going to turn your mortal body into an enlightened being's body. Okay? And what's in the bottle? But what is it really? Bodhicitta. Yay. Okay. All right. We have about 5 minutes. Oh, yay, we finished one class today. Okay. I call the next class, which is actually technically class 4. Tim, I promise we'll catch up somehow. I always do say that, right? I call this 4th class a delightful way to pile up good karma. So that's the subject. Delightful ways to get piles of good karma. Okay, so let's start at least. And now we go to Shantideva, Master Shantideva's Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, because Pabongka Rinpoche is feeling happy about the alchemy example. Okay, he wants to hang with that example. Ready? Sergyuti Nampa Choktabu. What's the highest alchemy elixir in the universe? Mitsan lu de langne gyawe ku rinchen rintame pagyowena. It transforms this filthy, rotten corpse of a human body into rinchen rintang me. Okay, it's a pun in Tibetan. Rinchen means jewel. Rintang means value. So he's making a pun on Rin, like Rinpoche, okay? Rinpoche means valuable, okay? So he says, you can take this body, this rotting corpse, and turn it into a precious gem, something like that. It doesn't come through in English so well. Preciousity? Something like that. Okay. Anyway, you can turn it into jewel. Okay. All right. Chanchu semshe jawa rapten sung. Therefore, please work hard on your bodhicitta. Okay. Who said that? Shantideva. That's Master Shantideva. The Master Shantideva's Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, the whole first section, the whole first 5 pages or so, is this advertisement. In Shantideva's words, okay, so Pabongka Rinpoche is stealing everything from Shantideva. You know, the first 5 pages of that famous Bodhisattva's manual is a sales job, and it's perfectly matches what Pabongka Rinpoche wants to say. So he's using it, the pieces from it. Okay, all right. Next picture. We still have 3 minutes. Let's use them. Oh, I'm sorry. No, let's finish. We're going to stop there.